at the end. We now move over to West Asia, where Israel's military says it has begun the first steps of a major operation to seize Gaza City, the heart of Hamas's remaining strongholds, according to the Israeli government. Troops are already holding the outskirts of the city, according to IDF spokesperson Brigadier General F.A. Defrin, who described Hamas as a battered guerrilla force. At the same time, Israel has called up tens of thousands of reservists, with full deployment expected in September. The push towards Gaza City is drawing strong international criticism amid warnings of mass displacement and civilian casualties. The war, now in its second year, has killed more than 62,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza health officials, alongside the 1,200 Israelis killed in the Hamas October 2023 attack that ignited the conflict. Efri Defrin, Israeli army spokesperson, stated the following. Okay, apologies for that. We are now joined by Alon Pinkas, who is a former Israeli ambassador. Alon, thank you very much for joining us here on the program. It is a significant day in this conflict. This huge offensive is being launched after mass opposition, both from inside Israel and from its traditional allies across the Western world. Can I get the response from the Israeli people first? What's the feeling as this assault on Gaza City commences, the feeling around the danger of the hostages and also the humanitarian crisis that's going on inside the Gaza Strip? Alon, I believe your audio might be muted.
Okay, is it better now?
Brilliant, thank you so much, Alon, yes.
I'm sorry, Thomas, my mistake. I was saying, when you didn't hear me, there are about three separate sentiments that all converge here. The first is the Israeli public was led, or misled rather, to believe that there is a ceasefire and a hostage deal in the making. That was 2-3 days ago. I mean, I'm not even talking about the last 6 months, but that was 2-3 days ago. And now they're being told, essentially, that the Prime Minister, Mr. Netanyahu, is stalling, taking his time, asking for time to rethink the whole idea. And parallel to that, this offensive that you correctly described is being prepared, and over 60,000 reservists have already been called for active duty. And so there's a public sentiment that will probably, in the absence of a ceasefire deal and a hostage release, this public anger will again erupt on Sunday or Monday, as it did last week. The second sentiment pertains to the attack itself in Gaza City. And I think that the vast majority of Israelis don't understand what the point of that offensive is. It's been 22 months, nearly 2 years, that Israel hasn't decisively destroyed Hamas, as Mr. Netanyahu had promised. Yes, Hamas has been significantly degraded. Yes, it's been decimated. Yes, Gaza has been reduced to rubble, but Hamas is still there. I mean, there was just yesterday, there was an audacious attack by Hamas on an Israeli outpost inside the Gaza Strip. So the public doesn't really know what is going on, and what is the point, and what is the political objective, and what is the end game. The third sentiment is total dismay and anger toward Mr. Netanyahu for a variety of reasons that go back to October 7, 2023, when all this began. Take all those three together, and on top of them add the international outcry in the form of 25 countries signing a communique demanding that Netanyahu end the war. Several more countries, including major Israeli allies like France, Britain, Australia, have indicated that they intend to recognize a Palestinian state in the next UN General Assembly this coming September. And you see a public that doesn't really know, doesn't really understand, and doesn't really like where this country is headed.
Yes, Alon, what a lot of Israeli allies have released statement about is obviously the intentions of the Israeli government, especially, of course, the Netanyahu government, that of the National Security Minister and that of the Finance Minister's outspoken views. There has been statements from particularly Bezalel Smotrich when it comes to his statements where it says that Gaza will be completely destroyed. How representative of this is Bezalel Smotrich's views, his far-right views, may I add, on Israeli society? He has been sanctioned by numerous Israeli allies in this conflict. And how reflective is that about how Israel truly feels about the Gaza Strip and its people?
Oh, that's a good question. We need to draw a distinction between Smotrich himself, who, according to every major poll in the last year and a half, does not cross the necessary threshold to get into parliament, meaning that his real electoral weight is marginal, and that of the sentiment that he represents. You have to understand, I mean, I say this for the viewers, I'm sure you do. The level of anger, of dejection, of humiliation, of revenge that exists in Israeli society at large since October 7, 2023, since the Hamas terror attack, should not be discounted. At the same time, people viscerally understand that if you occupy Gaza, you own Gaza. There are 2.3 million people in Gaza. And if you occupy Gaza without a plan, without a coherent political framework, without an end game, without a detailed idea of how you're going to govern Gaza, none of those Israel has, none of those Israel expressed any interest in doing. You're basically stuck with 2.3 desolate people living in a very dense swath of land, hopeless, foodless, waterless, medical supplyless, and so on. And so on the one hand, the public is still livid and angry as to what had happened in October. On the other hand, I don't think that what Mr. Smotrich, who's not just you called it outspoken, Thomas. He's not just outspoken. He's an extremist, ultra-nationalist, messianic, dangerous man. But if I may add one more sentence, I think politically, it's a mistake to separate between him and Mr. Netanyahu. He may be outspoken. He may say what is on his mind, and you have to give him credit for that. He's not lying. Mr. Netanyahu thinks very similarly, yet he somehow shields it and packages it in softer language. But they are not that different. And in consistent polls, this is a minority view in Israel.
Elon, now let's talk about the international isolation that Israel is currently facing, not just from its adversaries, but from seemingly encroachingly its allies. We've had multiple statements from multiple traditional allies of Israel, including the United Kingdom, including France, who of course, among others, who of course plan to recognize a Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly in September, but of course have also been outspoken about this new offensive and the potential consequences it might bring for the people of Gaza and of course the hostages that are still held there. Who we haven't heard about is the Americans, of course. However, they have not released a statement condemning any of Israel's actions. However, a July 2025 Gallup poll says that only 32% of Americans now support Israel's military action in Gaza. We have to look at also of course, the European response. Is Israel worried about the possible future of its role on the international stage? How do you think the consequences of this war are going to fall on future generations of government?
This is a classic. Well, it's not classic because it's almost unprecedented. But this is a textbook case of self-devaluation. brand devaluation, of self-destruction, of brand self-destruction. These are all euphemisms. These are all synonyms for the same phenomenon, and that is that Mr. Netanyahu tarnished Israel's image in the world almost, and I say almost because you need to leave some latitude here, beyond repair. Now, if you look at Mr. Netanyahu's pattern of behavior, he relishes being in that situation. He believes that us against the world serves him politically. I'm the only one who stands up for Israel forcefully. The world is against us because the world is either anti-Semitic or they don't see the threat of extremist Islam, radical Islam, as I do. Okay. But there is a critical mass, Thomas. There's a critical mass of opposition and condemnation that is being formed. You mentioned Britain and France, but it's also other countries in Europe. It's also Canada. It's also Australia. It's also New Zealand. You see the relative indifference of China and India, two huge powers, on this, and we're left, as you absolutely accurately pointed to, with this American standoffish attitude that is being interpreted by Mr. Netanyahu as tacit support or green light, but some interpret it differently as the Americans saying, you know, you made this bed, you sleep in it, meaning we're not going to get it. We'll support you, but we're not getting involved. Now that poll that you pointed to, the 32% in the Gallup poll from July, if you look at other polls, not only do they come up with similar numbers, but they show that a growing number of Trump voters, of Republican voters, have developed an opposition or a critical approach to America's Mideast position. So in that respect, Israel is in a very dire situation, which Netanyahu, who's only thinking about his political survival, seems to be completely impervious to.
Elon Pincas, thank you. Pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for taking out the time and talking to us here on NewsX World. Well, that is all that we have.